Okay, let's look at making sure the settings are set properly for the way you'd like to deliver this lesson that you created that's self-paced, and get it into Blackboard as an assignment. So the first thing that we'll need to do is have a look at the advanced settings to make sure that everything's enabled the way you'd like it to look for your lesson. Now keep in mind that these are global, these are not per lesson, so whatever I set now will apply to every lesson on my dashboard until I change it again, and then that will override all the settings. So I clicked my account icon, my account name is displayed, and there's a little cog next to it. I click that cog. The first area it takes me to is my profile, where I can change my photo and other account details. I'm going to click Advanced, and these are the options that I can enable or disable for the lessons. I always leave Immersive Reader turned on. That's the ADA tool that provides accessibility for our students. I've got student notes turned on so that they have the option of taking notes and receiving a copy of all their notes, the slides, all the responses to the questions I've asked, and all the media that's embedded inside my lesson. If you are giving a quiz for a grade using Nearpod, you probably want to turn this off and not show the results in student paced mode. That way no one can share correct answers. And you may want to turn off resubmit answers. Totally up to you. If you're using a Collaborate board, you definitely need to have this turned on, or else students won't be able to access that Collaborate board in your self-paced lesson. To exit out of this area, I'll just click the house, and now I'm back on my own dashboard. So I'd like to assign this citation practice lesson to students. I'm going to hover over it, and all kinds of options are revealed. I'll click Student Paced. Now I've launched this lesson 3 times, so I've got 3 separate report sections for this lesson already. If I'd like a new report section for this lesson, I can launch a new student paced report, or I can use one of these existing codes. I'm going to go ahead and launch a new one. The default is 29 days of availability. I'm going to give students until the 16th to complete this activity. So they've got 7 days from now. And I'll click Apply. I'm going to share the code. Students will join with the code using an app when they join from a phone, a tablet, or an iPad. If they're on a computer, they'll sign into the Nearpod site and then enter the code. You can also add a link. I just like to give the code. Students on the small devices cannot access with a link. So if you want to use a link, also make sure that you use the code so that everyone can get into the lesson. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and copy that to my clipboard, close that out, and then travel over to my Nearpod page on Blackboard. So I have a folder in one of my modules called Nearpod where I add all my Nearpod lessons. I've added the Google Doc that shows students how to access the self-paced lessons. I used the Nearpod lesson direct link in the build content section to add live lessons for students that I run during a live class. Now I've got one that I want to give them asynchronously as an assignment. So I'll come up to Assessments, click Assignment, and I'm going to call this the Nearpod Citation Assignment. I can change the color of my title, which I like to do. And let's give them the code, and I'm going to enlarge that text so it's nice and big for them. And then I'll go down and set my assignment parameters. I want to give this the due date of the 16th. And I'm going to give them 10 class participation points. for completing this assignment. And then I'll click submit. Now students have the code, and they also have directions for joining the self-paced lesson. If I decide to make a change to this lesson after I've added the code to my Blackboard page, I have to update the join code and the link. Every time there's a revision to a Nearpod lesson, a new code or a new link is generated. So keep in mind, if you change anything in the lesson at all, you'll have to go back to Blackboard and update that code so that students access the correct version, or the version you would like them to access of your lesson. And that's how you'll get students into your self-paced lesson on Nearpod.